YouTube? Topaz Jace back for another daily review, and this one is to that XXL freshman cypher with Desiigner, Lil Dicky, and Anderson .PAAK. Now, real talk, if I'm the manager of Anderson .PAAK or Desiigner, I'm really mad about this because they really messed this up. Like, you cannot put Desiigner and Anderson .PAAK in the same cypher as Lil Dicky. And as a fan of music and such, I'm upset about that as well, because ultimately there's no way you could not have Lil Dicky and Dave East together in the same cypher. Those two are the only really lyrical people on your whole list, and for you to include them on anybody else's, you're doing everybody else a discredit. See, quite honestly, these managers just didn't do their job, because your job is to put your artist in the best position to succeed. And by putting him next to the most lyrical person on this list, it's not helping them. And I did like certain aspects of this cypher on how they were all playing off of each other. Like how when Anderson .PAAK said that he was having sex with fleshlights, and then Lil Dicky like shouted him out on it. And then how Desiigner relegated himself to being the hype man. And he did that most likely because his ad-libs is pretty much the only thing that he could bring to this conversation. I mean, Anderson .PAAK is multi-talented and all that, but singing is really his forte. You can tell because these bars just wasn't on there, man. And the crazy thing is, Lil Dicky really didn't even go in like he typically does. Like, these bars are not as good as he's done on his own album that recently dropped, but yet he completely slaughters them. Now, if Lil Dicky and Dave East was together in the same cypher, they may have pushed each other. If they did any research on each other, they would have known that they had to come correct, and not really just gyps us as hip-hop fans. I mean, especially if you look at what Desiigner is doing on this, man. He's pretty much just doing a hook. He's not even spitting, and then he messes up, and they edit it out. He messes up multiple times, man. Like, he's so bad that XXL really accommodated how bad he is. And this sets a precedent. Like, it's going to happen to Lil Uzi Vert and all of them, man. They all gonna have a bunch of edits all throughout this. Quite honestly, I'm waiting on the whole Dave East cypher, and then I'm gonna be done with this class. But this concludes today's review, man. And now we're gonna jump into a brief instrumental from underground producer Nicotine Beats before we jump into some of your questions. Says that he feels as though that Schoolboy Q is overrated, and you know what? I feel you, because here's just the real thing. When Kendrick blew up, there was a lot of hype all throughout TDE and every MC, and I'm like, okay, there's gotta be some dope acts in here, and the only one that really impressed me was Isaiah Rashad. The rest of them have been rather iffy. Yoshi says that Joe Budden is really spitting here, but do people actually care? Do people actually want to see the battle here? And you know, that may be the reason why we have yet to hear a freestyle from Drake, man, because you have to have the notoriety to go along with the bars in order to make these battles and such in mainstream actually mean something. And Joe Budden doesn't have that. I mean, Drake could easily veto it and nobody but Joe Budden's fans will come out and be upset about it. And Alex says that Future is a superstar because he was on Rolling Stone. Understand this. Being on these popular magazines and all that does not make you a superstar. Really, these people are trying to sell magazines, so they'll put anybody on that has any kind of name on the cover. To be a superstar, you have to consistently sell like Future's been selling for just this 1 year. He needs to do it consistently, dog. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpass.com, that's down there, to read today's article.